Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome everyone into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. And everyone, hey, welcome into the program. Today on the show, we have the one, the only Danavation Technologies Corp. And if you don't recall them, that's okay, because we're going to discuss everything that they do and how they do it here on the program today. This is a technology that you're going to be seeing in really, just so many different retail department stores, so on and so forth. Changes a very, seemingly small part of the business, but man, is it a lot of overhead, a lot of hours worked, and just really, this is a very simple solution to a problem I think not a lot of people knew existed, and I'm really looking forward to talking about this once again. So everyone sit back, relax. ComputerAmerica.com is all you really need to remember. Of course, you can head on over to Danavation.com and check it out there. But we'll also have a link on our homepage for the next couple of weeks. Just head on over there, and there should be the show notes right there. So if you're driving, if your hands are busy, anything like that, you can, of course, just go on there. While you're there, check out reviews, show notes. You can check out the podcast. You can check out really anything that we do. Go ahead and feel free to. And, give us a like, give us a follow, blah, blah, blah. Now, with that being said, we are really ramping up our CES 2022 preparations. We're looking forward to a busy January, but everyone, I hope that you're having a great holiday break if you're listening to this later. But of course, hey, the holidays are upon us, and looking forward to it. So obviously, that's going to be my best segue into the fact that you may be seeing more stores, the inside of stores, the labels, the pricing. They change daily, sometimes hourly. They have a lot of different things that go into the pricing and labeling of products. What makes them more attractive, what makes you actually catch their eye, what makes you actually want to buy something. And this is where businesses and consumers meet, and the technology between them is, of course, our guest with Danavation. So joining us today is, of course, the CEO of Danavation, and that's Mr. John Ricci. John, how you doing? Welcome on to Computer America. Yeah,
Appreciate
our pleasure. Yeah, our pleasure. So thank you for joining us. And why don't we go ahead and get a little bit of background on yourself? Have you always been in technology? And then a bit of background on Danavation. When did it start, and what is your mission?
Great, thanks for that. Not really technology way back. I'm more of an inventor. I've built different products and for different companies back in the day when I worked for other companies. A little bit of a designer. But in the retail space, I've had my experience in my company, Dana Industries, for the past 30 years. We're a total retail solution provider. And everything from shopping carts, baskets, trolleys, shelf talkers, wobblers, danglers, anything that goes in a retail store, we've been doing for the past, say, 30 years. So that's a separate company. We got into DSLs, digital smart labels. I think we started kind of dabbling with them 5 years ago, but we incorporated Danavation in 2018 as a total tech play, kind of the next generation of how retailers would do business in their stores. And our first kick at it was automating pricing at the shelf. That's kind of what we figured would be happening. That would be our first target. That was 2018. Fast forward, we went public a year ago on the CSC.cn an exchange, and we haven't looked back since. So we're really excited for Danavation. I'm really excited for Danavation. We have a fantastic tech team, and we do all kinds of great things. And one of the key things we do is we design and engineer our own hardware and software in-house. So we're really happy that we do that. And we're the only company in the business grounded and founded in North America. And I think that makes us special because my legacy business, I do have my ear to the grindstone. I kind of know what retailers are expecting. We know how to service. Our customer service is second to nobody. But our tech and what we're doing is what differentiates from the competition.
Yeah, and of course we're going to get in more, kind of how you, how else you kind of differ from your competitors. But let's, and this is just a personal side for me. How has the chip shortage been? I've asked every company that comes on the show that has their own hardware. All of them kind of say, yeah, it's, kind of sucks. Luckily, a lot of people who come on the show seem to have, kind of larger stockpiles and, some reserves that they can pull from. But how has the chip shortage been for you?
It doesn't affect us. We don't have a product that depends on chips as the auto industry and others would. So that really hasn't affected us at all.
That's perfect. Hey, very, very lucky. So, of course, with and we're going to talk about the different components of the hardware that you put into stores and, kind of how the installation kind of goes. But let's talk, of course, about smart labels. And I think a lot of people out there, maybe, obviously, if you're watching the video portion, we're going to, kind of show it here on screen. But for those listening, describe what is involved in a smart label. Pictures, words, prices, what goes into like the what differentiates a smart label from a regular label?
Okay, so first of all, it's digital. So there's a battery that powers this. It's got a 10-year battery life. It's engineered to handle 3,600 updates. So if you break it down to a year and how many years, so that's where we got our 10 years from. So a little electronic device, battery powered. No power at the shelf is required. It works by being directed for the changes by a base station that's in the ceiling, like a wireless router. That router is PoE cabled into your network in a store, which in turn is networked to head office, for example. So you see that base station is in the ceiling. So let's take a store that's 25,000 square feet. You'd probably see 5 of those in the ceiling. PoE, like I said, to your network. If you have 100 stores, head office is controlling pricing, promos, information from one location. So as you batch pricing, as you update pricing corporately, you can send out on a schedule. So you can have 1,000 price changes set for tomorrow morning at 12:01 a.m. And on the calendar it goes, and all the managers walk in their stores tomorrow morning, and those 1,000 tags are updated. It's a very simple system to use. We integrate with the company's POS ERP system, and when we take it from there, so it's a pretty efficient system. We have some unique proprietary software that we give to our customers, and it allows our system to be almost do-it-yourself. And as a matter of fact, a lot of our new customers, it is so simple that we're just dropping their store complement to them, and they're doing the install themselves. So we're extremely happy where we've become and what we've done over the last year with the simplicity of the system and making it very user-friendly.
Yeah, and that's what I would kind of assume that it's very simple, and I guess people would want to do it themselves. But I'm also kind of I'm curious what kind of customer support you offer people. Is it do you offer like kind of training on how to use the software? Do you help them tie it into their existing system? I mean, you mentioned that you had really, really good customer support. What are some of the common things that you tend to help with? I don't know if you have statistics, but I mean, just in general, what do you help people do?
Yeah, so first of all, it could be tech's intimidating to some people still to this day. I mean, everything's getting a little bit easier. Think about how smartphones were even 3 years ago, right? So, open up a phone out of a box and click, 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 and you're set up. It's really easy. Now you can just put your old phone right beside your new phone, and it updates for you. So it's incredible of how far we are coming with technology. So on this system here, our software integrates with your POS system. So you have a POS system that helps run your pricing strategy in your store. So our tech team ahead of time will integrate with that system. That's all done ahead of time. Once we form the link, we're set to go. Once we send your system to you, or if we were doing the install, it's a couple of days. I mean, it's that easy. I mean, we integrate the system. We have templates for the tags. We can put anything on this tag. We can, the basketball jersey here, whatever font size you want. You can put product reviews or QR codes. There's all kinds of things we can put on here. We can make this look exactly like your PDF in a store. We have some interesting multicolored displays coming out in the next, I'd say, 6 months. That'll make them even flashier for the customer. But it's a real easy system for us to integrate. And we have a series of videos for customers. Our tech team's 24/7, multilingual, Spanish, French, English. We don't sleep here. So if we get a call, we answer the phone. I'm very hands-on. Our whole team is hands-on. We're eager to back up our system, not just in putting down in words what we can do for you, but we back it up with action. So our customer service is really, really important to me personally, to make sure that our customers get a system that we're claiming it's easy to use, we're proving it's easy to use, but we're always around to help them out.
Perfect. And maybe for people out there, and myself included, I don't exactly run a store, but I'm curious, how big of an issue is the one that you're solving with smart labels? How big of an issue is it really? Because you kind of touched on it when you said, well, somewhere in a central location, they control pricing, sales, deals, whatever, and they push that out as an over-the-air update. They update 6,000 labels, for instance, and everyone just walks in the next day and it's already done. I can imagine doing that by hand takes a lot of time, and in fact, I'm sure it's easier to do something where you don't change anything and just put special little labels and pick them up, take them off wherever. How big of a problem is traditional labeling?
It's a massive problem. It's for a couple of reasons. I mean, printing, it's error prone. You can forget to do things. I mean, a retailer, in our experience, would like to change pricing more often. They just can't really afford to do that. I mean, we ask everybody after we do an install or we do an assessment, if you can change pricing more often, would you? Of course. How often? In some cases, I think you start off by saying hourly. Like some could do hourly, but I mean, even every couple of days in competitive environments, you want to change your pricing. Paper is just an old style system. Paper, printed sheets in your computers, in your offices, in a store, perfed paper, stickies, handwritten signs. The margin for error is it's pretty high. I mean, we're getting all that. What we've noticed in the past, let's say past year, we talk about labor savings and it's tedious. Well, there's a real labor shortage in some of these stores right now, like grocery and retail. They're really getting hit hard. It's hard to find employees. How are you supposed to change pricing and have an effective pricing strategy in a store when you don't have people to do the work? Right. I mean, that's the other problem. I mean, I know instances where store managers are staying 4 or 5 days a week till midnight to do this because they don't have people doing this. I mean, it's tedious, it's time consuming, it's expensive, and it's error prone. We can take that away, and in the case of saving labor, you have a chance to have your employees do more important things in the store. Customer service, which is a rumor in some stores. Stocking shelves, making sure products available, product demos, but just engaging with customers. And that's kind of where we're going with our system. And how we talk about, we preach 3 wins, and the first one is operational efficiency, of course, but the second is customer consumer engagement and relating to your customers at shelf in your stores, brick and mortar. I mean, brick and mortar stores, are traditionally have, product on shelf, customer walks up. Sometimes they ask for help. Sometimes you get customers that don't want to ask for help and they just walk out without realizing there is something that they could have bought in the store. So you want to keep people in your stores. I mean, you're battling with online presence and online shoppers. Customer comes in your store, that customer is gold. You need to engage them. You need to help them make that buy, stimulate their senses, get them to have some interest in the product on the shelf.
Right.
That's one of our wins.
I could definitely see a situation where, the ability to dynamically price things online might actually trump, even sales in physical stores. But of course, in physical stores, people are more likely to, kind of look for deals and, kind of shop around and physically see the products like you mentioned. One case study here, which you have a number on your website, I was looking earlier, was this Norwich Deli and Bakery. And it's one thing to say, smart labels are more engaging and easier and that kind of thing, but it's nice that you have some case studies to show that, hey, this actually does translate in the real world to kind of productivity and sales for companies, right?
Yeah, this is a cool little store because it focused a few different things for us. It was one of our first installs, but he had a store that had, I don't know, probably 10 different types of fixtures. And we're able to have, we have hardware and data strips and clips, et cetera, that would allow these DSLs to be presented anywhere. So it was a very unique installation, a very tech forward gentleman in Norwich, Ontario. And it's got a real nice European flair, but we made the store like $1 million, and he's really, really happy. And we made it simple to run. And I think it's 2 years plus now we've had this install, and we haven't had a problem with it. But we like doing little specialty stores. We're not just a big one-off. So I think this appeals to everybody. This is one of the good things about Norwich. It's a small one-off store, but he sees the benefit, and he works the benefit of the system.
That's perfect. So, and of course, while looking through your website, I also found, this one, which I don't remember talking about last time with you, but healthcare, obviously in hospitals, reducing touch points, in reducing, I guess, kind of mistakes. I know that we've been talking about retail and, make sure that, this thing is on sale or this thing is properly priced. That's important, but also for hospitals, making sure that, you have the proper patient name associated with the person inside the room, very important. So I guess there's a fairly good argument to be had here for smart labeling in hospitals.
So this one's interesting because it there's a whole bunch of different moving parts with this. So one of the things, so the first thing I tell people is one of the most widely used products in a hospital or healthcare facility is 11.5 paper and Scotch tape. If you ever visit someone in the hospital, there's sticky notes, there's notes everywhere, hanging off of beds, behind the patients, on the headboards, on walls. It's paper overflow. The other thing is, you've been to hospitals and their rooms, the patient name doesn't change as quick as the patient gets in there. So there's always that kind of lag time and delay. And you may go visit somebody, that person's been moved to another room, so there's things like that. But in healthcare, with our system, one of the things that we've noted is because our system doesn't require any wiring, and we have very good range with our base stations to our tags, and our signal strength will go through brick and doors and walls, et cetera, and drywall. We can digitize an older facility. Now, there's more older healthcare facilities in North America than there are new. And we're always, paying attention when our local governments, building new hospitals. It's always a real big to do, and they're very expensive. And, you're building from ground up. But how do you digitize older facilities to give them an updated look, but also give them a digital presence that makes them modern and efficient?
Right.
A system like this, we can put patient records on a DSL on a room number that a doctor could access through an icon-based system and make it real efficient. A nursing station can have constant updates to the patient in that room, and a doctor accesses it in real time. I mean, you don't have that right now, and you may have it in the newer buildings, the new builds, these billion-dollar hospitals, but the aftercare facilities, the long-term health, and et cetera, don't have the luxury of being able to, drilling holes and running new conduit and wiring and cabling and upgrading their stores without incurring massive expense. So our system could really modernize a healthcare facility with very little work, 2 to 4 day install. In some cases, a couple of days.
I definitely like
very
how seamlessly it just going from a grocery store to a hospital, which you wouldn't think the two would have much in common, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And you can take this idea for free, no charge. But I was just thinking that I spent a lot of time this year in the hospital with family and things like that, and everyone's okay. But I just wanted to say that one of the most high tech pieces of equipment that a lot of hospitals have nowadays are the beds. The beds that people lay on. They're fully mobile. They have a bunch of sensors in them. It would be, and really, it would be kind of cool. I was just kind of thinking about this, John, that if the bed could go into a room and there'd be some kind of sensor or some kind of way to say that Ben's bed just went into Ben's room, then the label on the door would automatically switch over to whatever kind of patient information is associated with the bed and be like, Ben is in this room, and your smart display automatically update based on who's in there. So as long as the bed's up to date and of course you can see the person laying in the bed, then the labels on the door would automatically change. Little things like that become possible, I guess, with smart labels.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's a great idea. We have a system in my office. I'm looking at my door right now because on my outside of my door, we have a 7.5. Everyone has a 7.5 label, and my calendar is on there. So people are walking by my office and, John's busy because it shows interview at 10 o'clock and I have whatever else I have the rest of the day.
That's cool.
We tweak that, or we spool that I think he's got it set at every 15 minutes right now. So as I update my calendar is updated outside of my office. We have interest in office furniture manufacturers and some of the downtown Toronto towers where, as people go back to work, they'll be hoteling, right, moving from location to location and within a business. Could be up or down a few floors across offices. And if you have this digital system in your office environment, you can basically have the system follow your employees around. So regardless of the office I'm in today, my calendar will be updated on the outside of where my workstation is.
Yeah, there's another huge segment there as people are doing this kind of work from home and work in the office thing. They come in a couple of days a month or whatever to work in an office space. It'd be nice to just be able to this is my office for the day. The name on the door changes. Here's my schedule. Yeah, there's tons of applications here, and obviously these are, I'm sure, stuff that you've been playing with for years and years now. It's very exciting. And by the way, definitely appreciate Peter Parker being the one to go to the hospital here. That was a nice little Spider-Man reference there as well.
Exactly.
Yep. So, so with that being said, we were talking about some of the other, kind of benefits of smart labeling. We talked about labor cost, inaccurate pricing, customer experience, efficiency. Let's talk about marketing real quick. Have you seen any kind of interest when it comes to, obviously for retailers, you push it, you kind of sell it to the retailer saying, hey, this is going to be efficient. Have you had any, I guess, kind of communication with marketers or companies that want to market their products more and be like, hey, you should encourage your stores or your outlets to, develop our product? How are marketers liking this?
Great. So that's win number 3. So using a digital smart label system, particularly ours, because we have a large format smart blade that allows a retailer to generate revenue. So you do engage brands. So retailers could engage brands at the shelf. They can sell ad space on a schedule, at premium times of the year. You can set your January to December up on a calendar, and you can set peak times specifics. The Mother's Day, Father's Day, different holidays across the board, and there's many of them in our world these days. And brands love promoting their products, and you can sell brand space. You can put logos on these, and you can have instant change out. That means you can have a promo ABC product running Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, Monday morning. It changes to another company. You can do midstream changeovers. You can have someone looping up their presentation. The beauty of this is, unlike previous ways of doing this, on a blade, for example, where you have merchandisers or the brands having to send employees in, changing out plastic signs or paper signs on a regular basis. These are 4 to 6 week programs. The system will do it for you. Log into a portal, download content, and away you go. It's a fantastic system for retailers to generate income from their brands. And yes, marketing people love this for that reason.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, because I know marketers are always. I'm sure that the data comes in faster than you could normally change the prices, and obviously you want to improve and optimize the best you can. But hey, with something like this, you finally can. So real quick, I have to ask. I'm sure that LCD screens, and I'm sure very, very cost prohibitive things like OLED screens, but LCD screens in particular might be a bit brighter. Maybe more like a traditional TV and things like that. Why e-ink? How has been working with e-paper and e-ink kind of been a benefit for you?
Well, e-ink's cost effective. It's you get bright images. There's no it's very low power. Mm-hmm. It looks like paper. There's no fade. You can touch this. Like the original, or way back, some of the early ESLs or LEDs or LCDs. Mm-hmm. So if you touch them, you have that fade, like those thermostats, right? You have in your house.
Right.
Or if you turn to the side, the resolution changes and it's all blurry. You can't even read it. But they're clean, cost effective, efficient. We can put red, yellow, black on them right now, and there's multicolor coming up in the next, like I said, I'd say within the next 6 months. But we get some real nice definition. You can see the above there. You can put a photo of a power tool, a pair of skates, or what have you, QR code. So you get a nice resolution and definition with what you're trying to promote on them.
Yeah, for sure. No, the picture quality looks great, and we've definitely seen that from e-ink. And I guess also on top of that, I mean, lack of screen burn-in as well, I'm sure is a big technological plus for for e-ink and e-paper. So talk real quick, and you mentioned that your installations take a couple of days. Your customers can transition their entire store in just a couple of days. They do it all at once or in sections, I'm sure, if they want to. But talk about your revenue model, because 3 days in an installation job, I'm sure it doesn't pay for the bills year round. Do you have continuing revenue? Are you simply selling the system and the hardware? Yeah.
No, it's a pass model. So platform as a service. So we have it makes it affordable. It's monthly to our customers based on the store size, number of tags, etc. Every stores can be different, but you're looking at anywhere. It could be $500 a month to $6,000 a month. But with that comes our ROI assessment, and we sit with our customers and we show them why it is affordable. In most cases, the ROI is immediate. I mean, you can't run your system less expensive with a bunch of labor-intensive employees,
right?
For starters, but it's just the efficiency of it. And like I said, we like to tell our retailers, you're providing opportunities to upgrade your skills of employees and move them to more important parts of your business that are a little bit more relevant, and you can create new jobs. I mean, I've talked about a model with a customer, and we're actually doing it. When you walk into a grocery store, I use a grocery as a model here, but we talk about labor and how long it takes, et cetera, but creating product specialists in your stores that will engage customers at the shelf. It's really important that we offer that to people, special people with health issues, or special foods, diabetics, celiacs, gluten-frees, pescatarians, vegetarians. You have a wide range of customers coming into your stores now. That these things are a lot more prominent, and it's really important for customers to walk into a store that's going to offer them, a positive experience and have them, buy, what's relevant for them and what's important to them, and system can help work with that.
Yeah, I told you before the show started recording that I actually visited a store here that had smart, digital smart labels, and it was pretty cool to see, because obviously when nothing is happening, they just look like regular labels. It's pretty cool, just everything's displayed, no real difference there. But we were having trouble finding a cable. It was like a 6-foot DisplayPort cable, whatever. Went to a shelf. There were like 40 things there. I would say 30 out of 40 were out of stock. But anyways, we were looking, and one of the reps, or one of the employees that came over was like, "Hey, can I help you?" We were like, "We're looking for this." Pulled out his phone or app or device, whatever he had. And he was able to make the exact thing we were looking for. He was able to make the smart label blink. And I thought that was pretty cool, that, he could go up and be like, "Oh, you're looking for this?" And it started blinking. And it, out of those 40 random labels, the exact one you're looking for just lights up. And that was really cool to see. I was wondering if, that's something that's kind of standard across smart labels.
Yeah. We have some unique pick to light capabilities. I mean, that's great. Order picking, right? And, you have somebody walking through a store with an iPad picking orders. Mm-hmm. How long does that take them? I mean, yes, you can have, a good employee has a store memorized and they can do it, with their eyes closed. Right. But, making it easier, or restocking, where you have to go back and put those products back on the shelf instead of putting them anywhere, making things more efficient. Going to the back and picking out of the warehouse. Right. Same thing, pick to light. So there is a huge opportunity with a pick to light system, as it relates to whether order picking or putting product back on the shelf, or finding a product for a customer as he's shopping. Mm-hmm. And then as it relates to your warehousing in the back and keeping track of inventory. There's things we can do with our system where we can flip off the screen when the store is closed, and it goes right into an inventory module.
Really?
So you have an inventory system at the same time. So we're doing a lot of real cool things here.
It certainly sounds like a lot of things that would just happen through either memorization or sheer force of will and labor is just becoming digitized, and that's going to be hugely important as we move into really, I'm sure you see it more than anyone else, the next stage of kind of retail shops, and it's inventory management, like inefficiencies is how you bring prices down, I guess, or reducing.
It's generational. So I have. And I say this proudly. So we have 5 boys, and they're 38 to 17. Each one thinks different, and 3 grandchildren. And they all think different. I mean, the young ones are real sharp, and who knows what kind of world they're going to see. But everybody thinks different. So you take generations and you take apps on your phone, and you look at things like GPS or anything that a real tech savvy person will do with their phone, and it's expected. Don't you have this? Don't you have this app? Don't you have this app? You're wasting your time. Why are you doing that? It's taking forever. Why don't you just do this? You can do it in 10 seconds. So we live in this world where tech is taking over for efficiency in our lives. And some may hate it, some may love it, but it's not going away. And there's a lot of people always looking for something to make things easier. And perhaps some person doesn't need that. I don't want to, I'm good enough with it. But I see everything all the time. And, this system is something that we're catering to, multi-generational audience. I mean, this is how you have to do things. And there's got to be something for everybody, whether it's, font sizes or information that's available. And, some people may not want a QR code, but a QR code is gold for some people. They want to see it. Product reviews.
Right.
But, it all depends on the person. But I mean, we're getting more tech forward. It's 2022. We're not, like I said, we're not going backwards. It's going to be expected that you have a tech presence. I think in your pricing strategy, there's a coolness factor. It's information. You want to be able to engage customers. You want someone to walk into your store and say, yeah, these guys are tech forward. This is a cool store. Yeah, they can relate to me. Or I like shopping there because they have this system with my phone, or they do this in their stores. And I trust them because they have a digital presence, and it's perceived that they're staying leading edge in terms of pricing and margins, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So this is everything that the system's doing. And this is our ongoing presentation and spreading the word and talking about it, because this is the way of the future in retail. This is stores of the future, and you're seeing in your travels. You walk into stores and you're seeing digital presence. Europe is, I don't know, 3 to 5 years ahead of us. Adoption rates like 80% plus. We're sitting at 5% in North America. And then when you walk, you said it yourself, you walk into a store and all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is a cool store. They're doing this. This look really neat, look really clean and efficient. And let's talk about how the COVID world works and how we address touch points.
Yeah.
And fresh, clean, aesthetically pleasing. This is the system.
Yeah, like I said, when I visited that store yesterday and it had those smart labels, it just made everything, look better. And I mean that because I guess I've been used to looking at paper labels for the last, 30 years, and being able to, to see those smart labels. I mean, then there's obviously things that I would love to see with these things, now that this technology is possible, and I've seen it in the real world. Things like, if maybe it passively kind of tracks my location, and you can imagine what you could do with location and smart labels, where maybe it transitions to a font that I like. Maybe it lights up things that are on a list in an app that are on my phone, and it automatically says, here's your stuff. Little things like that. So I can imagine things that I want to see in the future. I'm wondering what the future for Danavation is, and if you could talk about anything. I know that you said color displays are, of course, something that you're going to be working on.
Multicolor displays, but we have some really exciting software features coming up in 2022. Really exciting, revolutionary, and game-changing that we're really excited about. That's going to make the shopping experience that much better. The tags are going to do more. The way the system works and how it's going to help retailers, and capturing big data, for example, is things on our plate. That's kind of where we're going with it. We are a software company using DSLs as a platform to just, to show what we can do. But, software is something that, our software developers are always working on the latest and greatest. And we have our own team internally here. Like I said, we design and engineer our own hardware and software. And we've just put something out for a very large retailer in North America that we're very proud of. That should be announced shortly. But, we're doing some real good things. We get calls, and our customers, potential customers, have pain points. They're asking us if they think there's something that we could do that could help solve this pain point. And of course, then we get to it.
And of course, I think the most important thing that you can do is, of course, build the software, build the foundation, build the system, and then, of course, work with the customers. That's always the number one thing, is listen to your customers, because they're going to tell you what they want. You just have to be willing to listen. So, as before, I was impressed the first time. I'm impressed this time, and it sounds like, hey, the pandemic has not slowed down your desire to innovate. I'm sure as an inventor yourself, you're very, very happy with Danavation. So. John,
you have to work hard in this market. I mean, that's a fact. We have to work hard.
Yeah,
we work hard, and we stay true to ourselves. We're transparent. We get the message out there. We educate, and it's you have to keep going. I mean, we're here. We go on another wave. We're hearing.
Just watching the news today, and I guess last week there was Omicron was 13% here in the U.S. Now it's it was 13-18% of all cases. Now it's 73% of all cases. We're not through yet, but clearly, hey, that doesn't mean that the world needs to stop. It's just going in a different direction very fast.
Yeah.
So
we push through, and thank God for the healthcare workers, and shout out to them, and trying to keep us safe. And it's a tough one, but. We all work hard at trying to keep everybody safe, and it's everyone's responsibility. But
yep, and very well said. So with that, I'm going to give you one more opportunity, John, to kind of say, is there any area that we didn't touch on? Anything that you wanted to talk about before we kind of wrap this up?
No, it's pretty good. I'm happy with this.
Perfect. Yeah. And hey, I'm super happy that you were able to join us. Everyone, John Ricci, he is the CEO for Danavation Technologies Corp. Danavation, DANAVATION.com. You can check that out. Or once again, Computer America, we'll have a link in the show notes right there. So John, I want to thank you for coming on the program. And yeah, as always, this is tons of fun. I hope that you either come back on the show or at least send us a press release to talk about, of course, the color display and those, let's see, what were the words you used? Groundbreaking, monumental software.
Yeah, great. We'll do.
Absolutely. So
great.
Go ahead and do that. So everyone, that's about it for us here today. And of course, computeramerica.com. Check it out there for the podcast and of course, for the radio program. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.